The Dallas Cowboys have found themselves in a situation where they might have to give Dak Prescott the axe. But how did they get there? Well, they finished the 2022 season with a 12-5 record, which is the second consecutive year that they finished with 12 wins, which is the first time they were able to do that since the 1992 through 1995 season, the same years that they won 3 Super Bowls. Well, this time around it finished a little bit differently as they lost the 49ers in the divisional round. And last year, in 2021, they lost in the wild card round. I guess you can call that progress, but regardless, they had Super Bowl level expectations going into the season, so it is a little bit disappointing. A lot of the blame got pointed at Mike McCarthy, their head coach, but a lot of the blame also got pointed towards Dak Prescott, their quarterback. However, Jerry Jones has been very vocal that he believes that both Dak Prescott and Mike McCarthy are in the Cowboys' future, at least for this next season. I mean, the team did rank 4th in most points scored per game this year, and last year when Dak was healthy for the entire season, they were 1st in most points scored across the entire league. So why would Jerry Jones want to get rid of Dak Prescott? I think it's because he's quite old. No, not Dak, even though he will be considered on the wrong side of 30 in July. No, I'm talking about Jerry Jones, who's actually on the wrong side of 80, as he hit the 8-decade mark in October. He's old, and he wants another Super Bowl, and he can't exactly play the long game to get there, so he has to make a drastic change now in order to reach that goal. And what better place to look than the most important position in the sport, quarterback? I mean, we've seen a lot of recent success with teams changing their quarterback. I mean, just look at the last 3 Super Bowl winners. Last year, you had the Rams win the Super Bowl after trading for Matthew Stafford. The year before that, the Buccaneers won after trading for Tom Brady. And the year before that, you had Patrick Mahomes, who the Chiefs, just 2 years before that Super Bowl victory, traded way up in the draft to replace Alex Smith and get Mahomes. So the model for success is right in front of them. But in order to go about that route, they'd have to figure out the best way to replace Dak Prescott. Well, there are really 2 categories they can look for a better quarterback. There's the free agent trade route, and for that, it doesn't look necessarily great. You got Tom Brady, but he's going to be 46, and there's a lot of risk in that, and we don't even know if he's going to be playing next year at all. You have Aaron Rodgers, but he carries a huge cap hit, and the Packers have said that if they're going to trade Aaron Rodgers, they're not going to do it to a team in the NFC. You have Derek Carr, but I think we can bait that that might be a downgrade from Dak. Then the most intriguing option, in my opinion, in this category is Lamar Jackson. But there are concerns that his style of play might not carry over into McCarthy's, as Lamar was in a very tailored offense to his skill set. You also have the fact that Lamar finished each of the last 2 seasons injured, and there's a decent chance that he's not going to leave Baltimore anyway. So that leaves that category kind of grim. The other category that they can look at is the draft players. And this is interesting because the 2023 draft is considered a strong one, as you have Bryce Young from Alabama, Will Levis from Kentucky, Anthony Richardson from Florida, and C.J. Stroud from Ohio State. The only problem is they have the 27th pick, so they might have to move up really far if they want to get their guy. However, in 2017, as we mentioned with Mahomes, they ironically also had the 27th pick and moved up to 10 in order to get him. That costed them, in addition to the 27th pick, their next year's first and another third. So that is a route they can take. However, Dak Prescott kind of carries a humongous cap hit, and that's going to be an issue if they want to get somebody new. And in fact, if they cut him, they actually lose cap space. So why did I go about telling you about all these different options they had and talk about why they're going to get rid of Dak if they can't even cut him? Well, they actually have some options. One of their options is restructure, which would save them about $22 million against the cap. They could also trade him this year with a post-June 1st designation, which would save a whopping $31 million, which is looking a lot more enticing if you notice that they have a negative $5 million in cap space right now. So what would a trade for Dak look like? Well, we have a few examples of recent franchise quarterback trades that we can draw from to see what the compensation might be for that. As I mentioned with the Rams, they traded 2 firsts, a third, and Jared Goff to get Matthew Stafford. Then we saw the Russell Wilson trade, in which they traded 2 firsts, 2 seconds, a fifth, and a few extra players to get Russell Wilson. And the Browns traded 3 firsts, a third, and a fourth to get Deshaun Watson. Of those options, I think the Deshaun Watson one is probably the most applicable here, as it was the most recent, and the only of those trades that didn't involve other players. So the Cowboys are looking at potentially getting 3 first-round picks plus if they trade Dak Prescott. And with those picks, they can trade up in the draft to get their new franchise quarterback. And what comes with a new rookie quarterback? Well, you get the rookie quarterback deal, which is dirt cheap compared to these mega deals that quarterbacks are getting now, which gives the Cowboys a lot more flexibility to increase the talent on their roster. And as I mentioned with the last 3 Super Bowl winners, we don't even have to look that far away to see how this model of success works. Just look at 3 of the 4 teams that are currently left in the playoffs. We've talked about Mahomes and the Chiefs. You have the Bengals who took Burrow with the first overall pick, and he's still on his rookie deal, and you see where this is taking them. And you also have Hurts on his rookie deal, and even though he wasn't a first-round pick, the same principle applies, and they have all this amazing talent around him because of the extra cap space afforded on his rookie deal. Jerry Jones is watching these teams have the success that he's not. And that model for success is right in front of him. He knows that he has to make a gigantic move at the quarterback position in order to get over the hump and win a Super Bowl. So perhaps the Cowboys' best option is to trade Dak, and with the draft pick compensation they get for him, use that to trade up in the draft and get their new quarterback so Jerry Jones has his chance for one last Super Bowl. Well, that's my theory. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, as I'll have more theories on the way. Thank you.